Okay, thanks for tuning in to this Solar Eclipse report. My name is Athen, and this is for October 23rd and 24th. Well, it's actually for the next 6 months, actually. These eclipses, they happen in succession. One eclipse season leads into the next, and the next eclipse season is going to be taking place in April. So a lot of this new beginning, a lot of this transformation that's taking place now is actually going to set the stage for the next 6 months, and then come to some sort of culmination around the April time. So for all of us, it's happening in Libra, and it's happening within a very close conjunction of Venus. So those two elements there are going to be playing the biggest role in all of this. Now, in terms of Libra, this is all about relationships on a mundane level, but on a deeper level, it's really about the relationship we have with ourselves. Because if we have a good relationship with ourselves, if we tell ourselves that I love you on a regular basis when you look in the mirror, and you have that constant sense of nurturing and support for yourself, and no matter what you do, it's 100% unconditional. When you have that for yourself, then naturally your relationships on the external will mirror that. So I think this is a great time, especially for these 3 or 4 days surrounding the eclipse, to really sit with this energy, experience it. Because during the eclipse time, the actual time, the sun is being dimmed, and it's being dimmed by the unconscious self, by the moon, by the feelings, by the emotion. And that's what's really creating this calibration. It's, we're so, on a day-to-day level, guided by the conscious self, that right now it's a calibration of the unconscious self, giving us some insight, going into the void, and recalibrating us, shifting our direction slightly. Because the solar eclipse is associated with the North Node, and this has to do with our higher self wanting to experience a certain type of experience in this lifetime. So our higher self is wanting to move in this direction, and so right now we're needing a dimming of the conscious self to see that and to feel that, and then to align ourselves with it and go in that direction. So that direction specifically is different for all of us, but in terms of the sign that it's in, it has the general energy of it, how we will do it, and which energies we can utilize the most. And in this case, it has to do with Libra and Venus. So in terms of Libra, I really feel it's having that really good relationship with yourself. And in terms of Venus, actually, Venus is also, she rules, she's in dignity here in Libra. She also rules relationships. And Venus in general is really about enjoyment. It's about doing things because you enjoy it, and I think for the next 6 months, if we can really find the enjoyment in what we're doing and let that be our guide, because Venus with a conjunction of the eclipse is, it's signified by the North Node, and so she's kind of guiding us. And then one of the messages I think she's saying is do what you enjoy, and ask yourself if what you're doing in any given moment is enjoyable. Do you enjoy it? And if the answer is yes, then you're moving on that direction. At least consciously you're moving in that direction. So I feel that's the big energy there with Venus, and I think it's very creative too. I think for the next 6 months, a lot of us are going to be very involved in creative things, creative projects, perhaps through our work, but in relationships too. We're creating relationships, and again, this is creating perhaps a stronger relationship with ourselves, and in turn creating a stronger relationship with others. So that's the strong sort of general energy that I'm really feeling from this. And Venus is also the heart chakra too. And so opening up that heart, letting the heart guide you, I think is really symbolized by this. Now in terms of Libra, Libra is, when we have this acceptance, essentially, of all aspects of ourselves, it creates a tremendous amount of peace and harmony in our lives. So I feel really keeping this peace and harmony, this acceptance in our lives, and seeing which areas of our life, which is really which areas of ourselves are we neglecting or not spending enough attention on. So this is really a time of really embracing, like I've been saying, but also keeping balance. If there's one area of life or of ourselves that we're giving too much emphasis on or not enough emphasis on, we need to lower or just kind of bring that equilibrium back within us. And then through that, that's going to create a tremendous amount of peace and harmony in our external environment. So I feel those are really the messages that I'm seeing in this eclipse. And what's very interesting actually is that we have a very close sextile with Jupiter and the North Node during this eclipse. So basically when we look at the astrological chart during the eclipse, it gives us a sort of snapshot of the next 6 months. So this is playing a big role too. And in terms of this, I really feel it's listening to our higher guidance. You know, Jupiter is that divine connection, and allowing that channel to come down, allowing, you know, us to receive the information and to receive help, really is what I feel. Divine guidance from our higher selves, from our angels, from our guides, from God, etc. So allowing that assistance to come in, we have to be open to receiving it. Because it's a sextile, it's not, you know, just being given to us. We have to be open to half of it, which is the receiving half. Now, on a more mundane level, this is happening in Cancer. So our soul family here on Earth is actually going to be supporting us, has been and will be for the next 6 months. So again, allow that support to come in. Allow those people in your life to help you and support you on your journey. Now, also during this, we have Mercury retrograde, so I feel going into anything over the next 6 months in terms of it being a learning process. Because with Mercury retrograde, it's a time of learning. And when we approach things from that learning perspective, with wanting to learn through the experience of it, then everything works out and we learn a tremendous amount of stuff. And that's the sort of jovialness that Mercury has. You know, Mercury enters into life with a wanting to learn. And there's any mistake or any error or anything like that becomes a positive because we see it as the learning experience, and we're constantly receiving from the universe, in this sense, the learning experience. So seeing things in that light, I think for the next 6 months is going to play a very major role as well. Now, Mars is in Sagittarius at the moment, and this is about the Crusader. You know, Mars being the action-driven element is in Sagittarius, which is the adventure. So I feel really tapping into the adventurous side of things over the next 6 months, maybe taking a little bit of risk, maybe doing things for the sake of the experience, for the sake of the adventure, to do things that are new and exciting and different. I feel really unlock that Mars energy too over the next 6 months. All right, guys, so I'm going to draw a card and see where Spirit would like that extra emphasis. Okay, Pluto. Well, there he is, the planet of transformation and often associated with the eclipses. You know, what's actually interesting about this is that a lot of us who were born in the late 70s and pretty much through the 80s and early 90s are experiencing this eclipse very close to our natal Pluto. And our natal Pluto is essentially the area of our life that we are releasing, that in past lives we've had too much attachment on, and now we're releasing. So I think this is a very transformative time for a lot of us. The aspects during this eclipse are easy. So there's an opportunity for releasing. We're not forced to do it. We're not forced, you know, it's not being forced on us. So I think really approaching life in terms of wanting to release and rejuvenate. And when we do that, there's that phoenix rising up out of the ashes. There's that sense of newness and that constant sense of renewal and change and wanting that change. And I think this is really a message of being open to it. And just like with being open to those messages of Mercury, of learning, being open to change and seeing that when we really release, when we let go of the attachments, there's a really strong sense of rejuvenation and freedom that comes from this. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching. And if you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch. Take care, and I'll see you next time.